Let's play a game. Get a small group together. One is evenly divided amongst boys and girls as you can, or all of one gender. Make sure to say whatever you need to say to each other before you start. After this, you won't get another chance. This game isn't for the faint of heart, and it isn't for the frail in spirit. If you do not think you can handle it, now is the time to back out. Meet in any park, woods, or abandoned complex, as close to midnight as you can, on a night of the new moon. Be sure, wherever you choose to meet, that it is someplace you all know very well. You will need every advantage you can get. Everyone should be dressed completely in black, and everyone should wear a mask that covers their whole face. If any of you stand out from the rest of the group, or your masks don't cover your whole face, the game will be over quickly. To be extra careful, it is best that all of the clothes be new, bought that day if possible, and nobody be able to recognize each other. If you can guess who each other is, you've done it wrong, and you should try again another time. Once you are there, do not speak to each other. Don't speak to anyone, not a single word. Plan it out in advance. If you are all there and you're ready to begin, place bowls, bells, or something that can make a ringing sound when struck, on the ground in a line. All of them must be identical, and there must be one for everyone participating in the game. We will refer to them as ringers from now on. Everyone must kneel on the ground and begin striking their ringer with some form of instrument. Sticks from the ground will work, and so will spoons, knives, or anything else really, as long as no one can tell who you are by yours. The air will start to get cold. You might feel something brush up against you, or the wind shifting around you. Pay no mind to this. Just ignore it. Don't look up and don't look around. If you see something moving in the shadows, ignore it. The soft ringing has called the spirits for the game. The movement and noise will continue to grow the longer you continue the ringing. Don't stop until everything becomes silent and still again. If you stop before that, the spirits will close in on you and you will die a most pitiful death. Once the ringing has stopped, the game has begun. If you've ever played hide and seek, then you should get the basic idea of the game. The rules are as follows. Do not leave the chosen area until the game is over. The spirits know what the specific area you chose is, and if they think you are leaving before the game is over, they will make you beg for death. 2. The spirits can only know a player's name if they hear that player's voice, or if they see that player's face. They will try anything to get you to talk. They can read all of your memories, with the exception of your name, and may take the form of a loved one, or even unknowingly, one of the other players. You might hear a familiar voice calling out to you, or face your darkest fears, but you must never speak or remove your mask. 3. If a spirit is able to call a player's name, they will tear that player to pieces. The most horrendous death awaits one who loses this game. Their skin will be peeled from their still living body, and their limbs will be twisted and contorted in the most inhuman ways. As their last gurgling breath leaves their body, the spirits will take their soul. They will be a spirit the next time the game is played. They may only earn their freedom by winning the game as a spirit. 4. If a player faces a spirit, it may be forced to flee with a flashlight. The spirits fear the sun and will flee from the light, but be warned. This is a temporary safety. The spirits will return after a moment, when it realizes it has been fooled. The spirits do not like to be tricked, and they will be furious afterwards. After a few times, the spirits may not flee from a flashlight anymore. 5. The game is over when either all of the players have been caught, or the sun rises. At sunrise, any surviving players are declared winners. Congratulations. You may now remove your masks and speak freely. Winners of the game are, from then on, gifted with the greatest of fortune and the best of luck. However, you may notice that not all the spirits have left after the game is over. Maybe you will see something out of the corner of your eye and turn to find nothing there. Maybe certain objects will not be where you left them. Maybe you will notice a few more things going bump in the night. You should start preparing, because the real game has only just begun. That was Let's Play a Game, one of the more popular ritual pastas, and it sounds like it'd be an actually fun game. Regardless of if anything happens, getting a group together and trying this out seems like it'd be a good time. I'm sure you would scare yourself at the very least. It seems like it would be really fun because you may come into contact with another player in the game, one of your friends that you gathered beforehand, and you're not sure if they're a spirit or your friend, because you can't ask them, because you can't talk. I'd give this one a 4 out of 5. Let me know what you thought below, and let's move on to the next story. Red Book is a paranormal game from Mexico where you use a book to contact a spirit who will answer questions and divine the future. It is also known as El Juego del Libro Rojo, or the Game of Red Book. To play the game, you need a hardcover red book without pictures and at least one red candle to light the room. The game can only be played with 2 or more people. Step 1. Place the palm of your hand on the cover of the book. Close your eyes and say aloud, "Red Book, can I enter your game?" Step 2. Keeping your eyes closed, open the book to a random page and point to a sentence. That should be the answer to your question. You will have to interpret it. Step 3. If the answer is positive, you can play the game. If the answer is negative or does not make sense, the question may have been poorly worded or contact with the spirit was not established. In this case, you need to try again. Step 4. Everyone can take turns asking questions and the spirit will answer them through the book. Step 5. To end the game, you should ask, "Red Book, can I leave your game?" You cannot end the game until all players have permission to leave. Now that you know how to play, I will tell you about my experience. There were 4 of us: Santiago, Sebastian, Camilo, and myself. We were gathered in my house when we decided to play this game. I went first. Maybe it was because I was the bravest, or perhaps it was because I was the most foolhardy. Who knows? The point is that I was the first to pick up the book, close my eyes and say, "Red Book, can I enter your game?" I opened a page at random and put my finger on. The answer was something completely devoid of meaning, so I gave the book to Santiago, who repeated my actions. He placed his finger on a blank page, so he handed the book to Camilo. We continued for several turns without obtaining a proper answer, until finally something happened. It was Camilo's turn, so he said, "Red Book, can I enter your game?" And the sentence he pointed to was, "I will grant you an opportunity." Finally, one of us had managed to enter the game. Camilo also got a positive response, so it was my turn. I closed my eyes and concentrated as much as I could. "Red Book, can I enter your game?" I asked. The answer I got left me baffled. "One who perseveres will reach his goal." Of course, I interpreted this as being a positive response. I wanted to enter the game because I was dying to ask a question, but would have to wait my turn. I passed the book to Santiago, but he did not get a proper response to his question. Camilo took the book. He thought for a while and finally asked, "Red Book, is there any ghost in this house?" He opened the book and got his answer. Man is always looking for answers to the unknown. The response left us astonished, but it was Sebastian's turn next. He got permission to enter the game. I was so excited that it was finally my turn. I did not know how much I would regret asking. Red Book, will I be safe tonight? This is the answer I received. 2 men appeared and their dreams turned to nightmares. The candles I had arranged on the table flickered ominously, but they didn't go out. I looked at my friends and they could not stop laughing at the frightened expression on my face. I think tonight I'm going to have to sleep with my mother, joked Camilo nervously. I passed the book to Santiago. He asked if he could enter the game and got this response. Go away. No more. This time we all looked at each other in surprise. It seemed like more than a coincidence. Camilo was the next one to ask a question. Red Book, will anything happen when I leave? The answer was, his mother who loved him so much, never laid eyes on him again. The atmosphere became tense. A cold sweat ran down my face and for the first time I was afraid. Hey Camilo, do you think that this relates to your comment about sleeping with your mother tonight? Asked Santiago. Shut up, Camilo growled. We could hear the fear in his voice. This is giving me the creeps, said Sebastian as he looked around furtively. Maybe we should quit playing now. Not yet, replied Camilo. We have to exit the game properly. Sebastian took the book and asked, Red Book, can I leave your game? He followed all the steps and read the answer. Only 2 may leave. He was out. It was my turn next, and I placed my hand on the book and asked, Red Book, can I leave your game? It said you're free to do as you please without receiving any punishment. I smiled. That was the answer I was looking for. I was out too. Because the book never allowed him to enter the game, Santiago did not need to ask permission to exit. That left Camilo. His hands were shaking as he picked up the book, closed his eyes and asked, Red Book, can I leave your game? He opened the book, pointed, and read the answer. For eternity. Camilo's eyes grew wide. He repeated the question again, his voice trembling with fear. The response was, From the darkness it comes, stalking relentlessly. Sebastian and I laughed nervously. It wasn't funny. We were just trying to hide our fear. Camilo growled at us angrily. We stayed silent. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and anxiously asked if he could leave the game. This is the answer he received. Nothing can save you now. Suddenly, the candles flickered and went out. We were plunged into darkness. Terrified, we all scrambled to our feet, ran out the door and left the house. Camilo didn't stop when he got outside. He just kept running. We yelled at him to stop, but he didn't seem to hear us. I asked Sebastian and James to follow him and make sure he was okay. I was so spooked that I had to wait for my mother to arrive home before I could go back into the house. That evening, I received a call from Santiago. He told me Camilo was missing. He had never made it home. Somewhere along the way, he disappeared. We tried to call him, but his mobile was turned off. We never saw Camilo again. The police were notified and a big search was organized, but no trace of him was ever found. To this day, nobody knows what happened to him. He just vanished. His parents are still searching for him, but at this point, most of us have given up hope. Every night, before I fall asleep, one phrase keeps echoing in my head. 2 men came, and their dreams turned to nightmares. That was the Red Book, a ritual pasta that not only includes the ritual but tells of an experience with the ritual. It's cool seeing a paranormal game from another country, Mexico. I always like seeing the different cultures' folklore and things like that. I thought it was a really good story. It played in my head like a movie as I was reading it. The only thing is that at the end, the nice little cliffhanger of the phrase that the protagonist got when they asked the question, "Will I be safe tonight?" doesn't really hold up, because that night is already over. 2 men came and their dreams turned to nightmares. Already happened, whatever it was. But that was really good for a ritual pasta. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And let's move on to the next story. Greywater Gardens lives up to its name, I thought, as I made my way up the damp concrete slabs, bridging across the stagnant pond. Everywhere leading up to the ashen, decrepit house was lined by rotten flowers and the congealed feces of cats, dogs, and other animals. The water itself looked like it had remained the same for centuries. This place is dead as I am. I arrived at the door, more a collection of damp splinters, and hesitantly pushed it open, causing the hinges to shriek. No more shrieking, please. The inside was as drab and oppressive as the outside, and my nostrils filled with the sense of mold and neglect and regret. Or maybe it's just me. I hadn't showered in days. I couldn't face the water. There was what appeared to be some kind of waiting area, 3 or 4 old wicker chairs, and one of those "please be seated" signs you find in posh restaurants. So looking around for the slightest bit of human company, I sat down and waited. Despite myself, my wallet found its way into my hands, and then the picture of M I kept in there found its way in front of my eyes. I could never throw this away, no matter how many times I told myself to, for the sake of my own sanity. But I couldn't. This was all I had left of her fair white skin and pale blue eyes and ginger hair I tease her about. The freckles on her face and chest. She was beautiful. I tried to correct myself to present tense, but I couldn't. I'd never forget the day the last of that ginger hair fell out. A cough brought me back to reality, and I looked, blinking back tears, to see an old man, bald and bearded and stooped over, grinning through a mouth of yellow teeth. His clothes were as gray and wiry as the hairs on his face, like he was Greywater Gardens in human form. Even his right eye was gray. The left was just a black, empty socket, with the eyelids hanging over it forlornly. "You have an appointment." He spoke like he hadn't used his voice in years. "Yes, I have a secret. I want to deposit it." "I know you do," he said. He let me grasp for words, wondering how the hell he knew, when he said, "You wouldn't be here for any other reason, would you?" He turned and beckoned me to follow him into the back room. I gazed at the picture of M one last time. "I love you." Then I slid it back in my wallet and I did as I was bid. The room was more of the same, gray and wet and rotting and horrid. The only remarkable feature was the huge, hefty ledger on an antique wooden table, next to a plain steel chalice. In the middle of the room was a concrete pool, only a few feet across, filled with the same stagnant gray water from the ponds outside. The old man opened the ledger. "You wish to deposit a secret?" he asked, perhaps as a formality. Or maybe he's playing with me. "Yes," I said. "Your name?" I told him. "Excellent. Then let's begin." He picked up the chalice and moved to the pool. He bent down, agonizingly slow, but eventually he filled the cup and shuffled over to me. "Drink the water," he told me, a grin playing upon his old and papery lips as he pushed the cup into my hand. "The water will enter you and your secret will replace it in the water. No man can discern its murky depths." His smile was now so wide I thought his face might crack open. "But be warned, once I have taken custody of your secret, you can never reveal it. No one will ever know, but there will be no confidence or confession or chance of redemption. Are you sure this is the path you wish to take?" "I am." I didn't even hesitate. No one could know for both of our sakes. The old man shrugged and took a step back. I raised the cold steel to my face, but before I could drink, curiosity gripped me. "Why do you take other people's secrets?" "In the world of the blind," he laughed, raspy and throaty, and tapped at his missing eye. "The man with one eye is king." And I knew exactly what he meant. "For you, M," I thought as I downed my morbid toast. I dropped the chalice and left without a word, knowing now that she was safe. As I walked out of Greywater Gardens, I looked down at the putrid pond and remembered. It wasn't the water that was grey at all, but her face. Her face as I held her frail body down in the bath. Okay, that was Greywater, another ritual pasta, but not like most ritual pastas. This one was told in a very narrative way, and I think that it was really good. If I was rating it on a 10-point scale, I'd do 9 out of 10, and on a 5-point scale, I just have to give it that 5 out of 5. As I was reading it, I was wondering what happened to M. And then, of course, I began thinking that he killed her, and he was trying to hide the fact that he did. And then obviously that is what happened. But still, it was a very good story, very well written, by James Blanchard. Let me know what you thought of the story below, and let's move on. Surely you are aware of the legend of the word Macbeth. The idea that it is bad luck to say the word in a theater. Many believe that if this word is said in the theater, it causes horrible misfortune. There are numerous theories as to why this may be. Some people believe that Shakespeare took lines from an actual coven of witches who then took great offense when they saw the play, and so cursed it. Another theory states that the man in charge of props could not find a suitable pot for a cauldron in the play, and so stole one from the coven of witches who then cursed the play in revenge. It is believed that saying the name of the play breaks the taboo and angers the witches, who appear as spirits and cause mishaps to happen during the production. This is where the story gets real. Superstition or not, people who say the word in a theater, jokingly or not, have suffered from horrible accidents which are often fatal. During the first premiere of the play, one of the actors who said the word died tragically on stage after a real dagger was used in the place of a prop. Due to the large number of fight scenes in the play, accidents like this are incredibly common. Not everyone dies, but many people over the years have ended up severely injured after saying the name of the play. Shakespeare himself also once used the curse to guarantee that nobody other than himself would be able to direct the play. He used it before a performance to King James I and the Scottish heritage. When word got back to him that the king had not enjoyed the play, it destroyed him inside, and so for the rest of his life, Shakespeare himself would only refer to Macbeth as the Scottish play. The ritual. Next time you are in a theater, stand in the empty foyer. Place your hands by your side, look down and close your eyes. Under your breath, say the word Macbeth. You require maximum concentration. A minute or so will pass. Your senses will become numb. You will feel a cold chill and 3 beings surrounding you. Do not open your eyes, or you will surely die. For you are now surrounded by the ghosts of the 3 witches. With your eyes still closed, look up and speak the words, "Angels and ministers of grace defend us," from Hamlet 1:4. Now stand and wait. You will feel your skin begin to crawl, but remain perfectly still. After a minute or so, a wall of ice-cold wind will hit you. Once this has happened, open your eyes once more. Spin around 3 times and spit over your left shoulder. You have been cleansed of the curse, and for your participation, the witches have granted you with eternal fortune. Now leave the theater and never return there for anything, or you are doomed to suffer a truly sticky ending. So that was a pretty interesting ritual. Not many offer eternal fortunes as the positive, with dying as the negative. Having that as a positive and it being a pretty simple ritual kind of makes you want to do it. So if anyone listening does it or any of the other rituals in this video, let us know how they went below. Let me know what you thought of the story. And thank you for listening and for answering the call of the night spirit.